Hello, hello out there. How y'all doing? I hope that I hope I'm live. There was a whole big technology drama mix-up situation. I guess this thing thought I was gonna live stream from some streaming service. I don't know. Listen, it's enough for me to keep up with the fact that all these things can do what they do. Um, I'm starting to feel that those moments when lighting. Hi, Deidre. Welcome. I'm starting to feel those moments that I think our parents would talk about when they would say things and we would just be like, oh my gosh, you're so old. I'm feeling some of that, y'all. I'm feeling it because every time I go do something with technology, I feel old. I'm just like, oh my God, I'm so old. I can't figure these things out. Um, so yeah, that's what I was feeling about 20 minutes ago. And then a couple of days ago too, when it just disappeared on me in the middle of the stream. Oh goodness. Listen, keeping up with technology has always been a thing, right? So anyway, I'm feeling the weight of the technology. I'm feeling it. So for those of you that maybe were waiting on the other stream where I had pre-scheduled it, I apologize. I don't know what happened. It just didn't, yeah, it wouldn't let me live stream from it because I guess it was trying to do some fancier thing that I don't actually know how to do. So here we are. Here we are. Hopefully we find each other. That's the best. That is the best I can do today. Today has been a difficult day. It's been a hard 24 hours, y'all. We'll talk about that more. So let me do my intro here. Hello and welcome. My name is Kiala Givehand, and thank you for joining, being here on my YouTube channel. I am, for the month of April, I'm doing a vlog series called The ABCs of Me. And this is a series where I just hop on here every day for the month of April and talk about the things that I care about, love about, am obsessed with, confused by, an expert in, a beginner in, and somewhere in between. I talk about all the things, but I keep myself kind of, somewhat, a tiny bit on track by using the alphabet as my guidepost. So today is letter U. We are on day 21, and that's crazy to me in and of itself, y'all. Like, let's just go ahead and name that. Also, I'm going to do a little celebration jazz hands for myself. Woohoo! 21 days and counting. 5 more days to get through the alphabet, and then we'll have the rest of the month to just sort of talk about all sorts of things. Yes, my glasses are like a little teal color on the front and kind of a green yellow situation happening on the side. These are my readers, prescription readers. And look at this. Look at all this matchy I got going on here. That's not usually my thing. But there you go, matchy. So, what do I want to say here? So we're at day U. I'm going to make a list of some of the things I'm going to attempt to talk about today. And we're going to do things. We're also going to I'm going to walk through making a book. Maybe you'll make one with me if you're out there doing the thing as well. Yeah, so welcome. If you're new here, thank you for taking a chance on me and all of my shenanigans. If you are tried and true, welcome back for all the shenanigans. You know how we do here. This is that space. So I'm going to go for about 90 minutes today. Damon has class for another, I don't know, hour and a half roughly. So I figure right about the time he's ending, I'll be ending, and then we can sit and enjoy the rest of our Sunday evening together, chatting, catching up, and all the things. So I'm going to go ahead and name that. My energy might feel a little off or weird. Even though it's not a letter U, we're going to talk about this full moon in Scorpio today. All right. I'm going to talk a little bit about that while I'm making a journal. So before I do that, the other thing that I've been doing here every day is pulling a card, either from an oracle deck, a tarot deck, an inspiration deck, all the things. So I figure I will do that today as well. I just need to find, let's find one to use. I think I have, let's see if this is the one I think it is. Yeah. I'm going to use, I'm going to use one of my handmade decks. That will be awesome. Let's move things out of the way. So this is one that is an incomplete set. It's not finished as many of my other projects. It's just another in a long line of unfinished projects. So I'm going to shuffle a little bit here and we'll do a card pull. I'm going to pull two. What do we need to bring our awareness to? One for me, one for the collective. What do I need to bring my awareness to today? How about coming week? What do I need to bring my awareness to for the coming week? Let's go with that. Coming week. Balance. Whoo. Don't you know it? That's like every day of my life I need to bring my awareness to that. So there's balance. Try to get that straighter. And then what do we need for the collective? For all of us that are here live and those of you catching the replay, hello. Here's the card for us as a collective energy. Ooh, I wanted that one. I'm gonna put it down, but this is the one that came up. So look at this. All right, we've got fire energy, creative energy, getting started. This is the one that I was sort of gravitating towards, then I pulled and shuffled. So we'll go ahead. Oh my gosh. Listen, I promise all the cards don't look like this in this deck. There are cards with other things on it that don't look like that. I just need to show that because I'm like, but these are the three that came up. So you can't make it up. Okay. I don't have a name for this deck yet. Like I said, it's kind of in progress and I haven't finished it. It's an unfinished object, which we're going to talk about today for the letter U day. But here we go. All right. So why don't I do something like this? Because these are the two that were pulled. And this is the one that I was like, oh, I really want this card for whatever reason. So, you can't make it up. You can't make this up. I don't know who else is out there besides you, Deidre. She says, and it's a green balance card. Yeah, look at the green just showing up for me today, right? So, goodness gracious. Oh, is anybody else seeing this? What I'm seeing? Okay. The two in the center here, if you put them together like I have them here, they literally make this symbol. Literally. Here's that little line going across. If I take that and turn it upside down, it becomes the one that's there. And if I bring this one on top of it, it becomes like they basically make that same symbol. You cannot make this up. I'm going to have to sit with this a little longer. Okay. So I'm laughing because it's crazy. I love it. I love that good reading. Deidre says we need to fire this week, but we must remember to breathe. That air card. I love that. That's a great reading of those. So I agree with Deidre on that. And here's what I want to add to it. So my personal card is this card of balance. So if these are the two things I'm balancing out, the fire energy and the air energy, for me, fire is always about my creative endeavors, my creative projects, my creativity, me taking action, the things I'm excited about, the things that, get me moving and going, inspiration, the spark, right? The fire. And then air is always about, for me, and elementally, is about our thoughts, our communication, our ideas, conflicts, intellectual pursuits, and matters of the mind, right? All the thinking stuff, the brainstorming, the worry that gets in the way, the limiting beliefs, the right. And listen, like I said, the last 24 hours have been interesting. That's all I got to say. They've been interesting, and I'll talk a little bit more about it, but they actually have to do with some of my creativity ideas. Um, I won't use the word stolen because that feels accusatory, but I will say, hmm, yeah, I got to think of a better word than stolen in this moment. But what I'm learning is that there has to be this like this deep balance. So balance is really important for me this week. I knew that before I even pulled the card. So the card is just confirming for me what I already know, that I really have to work to balance all of these creative ideas that I have on a daily basis with the way in which they show up in my creative life. Also, because this is about conflict, I'm going to have to be really careful. I don't like conflict. I don't want to be in conflict with other people. I don't want to have this energy of like, hey, I noticed you did this thing that felt kind of shady to me. Could you stop? Could you not do that? Like, I really don't want to have to do that kind of stuff. But the honest truth is, I may have to, but I'm going to need to bring in a lot of balance to do it. I'm going to have to just wait till I get myself really in a place before I go there. And I may decide that it's not about checking them, but just about being more mindful about what I share and who I share it with. You know what I mean? So, fire and air, I think, are a really beautiful thing to think about how to balance that internal stuff that's going on in the head with with the way in which it shows up as my creative expression in the world, right? There's a lot of that. And for all of us out here who are, and remember, I realized that I wrote this word multi-passionate recently on one of the days. I think it was yesterday for the letter T, and I never came back to it. But this is a big part of it, right? Like being multi-passionate, multi-talented, mixed media, meaning you're probably working with multiple mediums, right? All of these things where we have these multifaceted parts of ourselves. We have to be really careful about what we share with the world before it's ready, right? Before we are ready and before that thing has been fully thought through, right? That air energy. So recognizing when our ideas and our things are really ready to be out in the world versus when maybe they need to still kind of just be internal, just you, right? So all of that to say these three cards feel good and right. Now, to bring it to the universal moment, because that was really just my personal stuff, to bring it universally, and I'm going to move that balance card out of the way for a moment and just look at our two, fire and air. I mean, think about the relationship with fire and air. Take a candle, light it, cover it, smother the air, and see what happens. Take the air away and see what happens to the fire, right? Introduce air to fire and see what happens. They have a symbiotic relationship, right? Our thoughts and our actions, thoughts and actions, thoughts and actions. And I've been talking a lot today. Um, we had our Pulp and Paint call today where Damon and I are teaching our framework. And today's conversation was all about lifestyle and congruency. And hi, Stephanie, welcome. And in that conversation, we basically are talking about how your thoughts create your reality. Your thoughts create your reality. And your ability to express your reality um, makes a difference, right? Makes a difference in your lifestyle and how you move through the world. So I will say to those of you, whether you are in Pulp and Paint or not, what's the relationship between your creative expression and your thoughts and how you communicate and your intellectual pursuits? What are you studying? that is connected to your creative pursuits and your creative endeavors? How are you taking action on the things you're thinking about? How do you communicate your excitement? Like there's this relationship between fire and air that's really important to sort of look at on an elemental level, but also metaphysically. And I would even say intellectually, right? We got intellect showing up here. So I'm going to leave it at that. I think these are 3 really great cards for us to have for today. So I'm going to stick them right here in front of me so that I can move us along here. All right. So today is letter U. And I think I put some things out there that were like, let's see, what did I put? I'm pretty sure I'd said something about unboxing. UFOs, which for me, not the flying saucers, but like unfinished projects, unfinished objects. All right, let's just write that. Unfinished objects. That's what my entire 100-day project is about me looking at projects I haven't finished, right? The unfinished objects. So I put UFO there for today's letter U. I thought I might talk about, I mean, I'm always talking about the universe, right? So we got to put the universe on there. Universe. Also, I'm going to talk about ugly art. And I'll be sure to mention my girls from the Ugly Art Club when I do. Come on. Let's talk about unicorns. Y'all knew that was going to show up, right? I believe in unicorns. Don't you? Don't you know unicorns are real? What else we got? Oh, let me go ahead and put on here. Maybe I've talked a lot about my MFA program. Maybe I'll talk a little bit about undergrad and what I studied and what that whole thing was like. And I think I talked a little bit about it at one point, but I wanted to talk about usefulness, and I could talk about ultimate purpose. We'll see if that shows up. That's a part of our framework. I could bring in a little bit about Uranus. Maybe, since we're talking about the universe anyway. And then unapologetic life. What it takes to live an unapologetic. Hey, Stephanie, thank you for putting that in there. I think that's probably plenty, but I'm just going to put here a little asterisk because I think I don't want to forget. I moved it last time and I forgot to talk about being multi-passionate. And there was something else that I was like, I'm also going to talk about that didn't have anything to do with a letter U. Maybe it'll come back. We'll see. Okay. So with that said, take a little sip of water here. Ooh, I like upcycling. Thank you. And look, just enough space for it. Upcycling. Very nice. Thank you, Deidre. Oh, that was it. Listen, I'm so glad somebody listens, Deidre. Thank you. Because my brain is just doing the thing. Let's talk about this full moon in Scorpio. All right, we'll talk about that too. Okay, so I'm going to set the scene here because I'm going to work on a couple of projects so that I can work and talk. That feels useful. Makes me feel useful, I should say. So I'm not just sitting here blabbering on and not actually showing you how to do anything. So yesterday I talked about and showed these tape bound journals. So what did I do with the one I made yesterday? Or whatever day, letter T day. Was that yesterday, y'all? have no idea where. Oh, right in my face, y'all. I mean, like literally, if it were a snake, it would absolutely. It was literally right here. So I showed that yesterday. I didn't show how to do it, but I just showed the journal. And so today I'll show another. This is another one, and then we'll make one together. And if there's time, we might do. Maybe we'll do this one, but I'm thinking we're probably going to do this one and then a little unboxing of a couple of things. Okay. In fact, let me show you this other little one. So this is one that we made in Artsy Meetup when Arabelli came and did. This was last year, I think, early last year. She came and did a guest teaching spot, and she taught this. But this journal is not her creation. This journal actually goes back to, I don't know. I learned this book when I was at Mills. And I'm trying to remember, there was a person who came in and taught some structures that were like, I think the topic that week was like something like whimsical contemporary bindings or something like that. Don't quote it. And so this person taught it, and she gave credit to the person that actually made it. A part of me wants to say Hetty Kyle, but don't quote that, please. It might have been Barb Tettenbaum. I don't actually remember in this moment, but it's a bookbinder, book artist who has been bookbinding and book arting for decades. Someone in the Artsy Meetup, when Arabelli taught it, was like, oh, I've seen Dina Wakely do that before. I think it was her that started it. It was like, nope, not Dina Wakely. Dina Wakely probably learned it from somebody else. But this is not her structure. Like I said, I think the structure dates way back, further than Dina Wakely being the person who showed it. So I just want to name that because I try to say where I learn certain things from, because when I make up a book, it's my book structure. Like I have a structure that I've made called the clutch and the elevated clutch and the clutch and the elevated clutch. And it's not something that I learned from anybody else. It's just a book that I made up by fussing about with paper and seeing what showed up. So I would love if people are using it and teaching it that they give me credit. So I try to do the same for people. So I know that I learned it from someone who learned it from either Hetty Cow or Barb Tettenbaum, I think. Okay, again, don't quote it. All right, so here's my little. What I love about this is, again, the way it opens like that. It has this really neat binding, and I love that. This is again a scrappy one. It's just a piece of cardboard and some jelly plate prints that I had laying around, and I just made a little journal from it. A little journal that I love very much. I like this structure because it lays flat. You can do a lot with this. You can use single sheets, which is what these are. Lots of possibility with this. So I just took some offcuts of some jelly plate prints that were just waiting to have something done with them. And some painted papers that have been sitting around. This is one of my favorite things to use on the jelly plate print, is that big bubble wrap. Man, I love the texture and the way it shows up on the paper. I'm flipping through this. I should probably, some of these pages are printer paper that I printed things out on and then decided not to use. I probably should be like covering up some people's names and things. Oopsie. Okay, so that's that. I didn't realize what this was. And then that's the back, another piece of cardboard. So I made a little hardcover. But I mean, I got a good number of pages in there, but it's still kind of thin. And that's just because of the nature of this structure. Now, this to me isn't like, it's kind of cattywampus. It's not, right? But there's a way to get this a little more precise. It requires, time, attention, and desire. But you can do that. So I think I'll work on something like this, making a little tape bound journal. Also, I think I might go ahead. I keep threatening to go ahead and stitch this journal up so I can get it off my desk and chalk it up as another unfinished project that is finished. Yay! So I may do that depending on time. So we'll see. We'll see how it goes. I'm not gonna stress, press, make a big deal out of it. Also, I have not tried doing a tape bound journal using something like this. And I mentioned the other day about Tim Holtz fabric tape, and I'm like, I wonder if I should do that. So maybe let's try it. I mean, how will we know if we don't try it? So I'm going to make a little crease here so I can cut this in half because I want to have two pieces, one for the front, one for the back. This is that cork fabric. Are we calling it cork fabric or cork paper? I don't know. Let's go with cork fabric. How are y'all doing out there, by the way? Those of you that are here, type in the chat for me. Tell me how you're doing. Give me a word or two to describe what energy you're carrying right now and experiencing in your life right now. Tell me all about it. I'll try to get that line right there. I'm going to try to get this in half if I can. We're going to do the best we can with what we have here and hope that it is enough. That's pretty much my mantra. So let's talk about this full moon. Is that good? That's good enough. Good enough. So first of all, full moon is coming up on Tuesday. It's not today. I just need to name that. It's not until Tuesday, but I teach a class called Lunar Letters, and we meet on the new and full moons, or very close to the new and full moons, as close as we can get. And I don't do calls on Mondays. I don't do teaching calls on Mondays. And we have a bunch of classes on Tuesdays in the community. So I figured I better do it. I better do it on a day that, the closest day that I could get. So we did it today. And I taught a little ritual for people to use for the full moon in Scorpio. And I've been teaching lunar letters for several years at this point. Hey, let me say this. So this is that fabric tape I'm talking about from Tim Holtz. Isn't it yummy? Isn't it awesome? Do y'all have this? I love this one. It's kind of like a little ledger. And then this is floral. Listen, I need to talk about flowers for a minute. Hold, please. I'm going to write it on here so I don't forget. I might want to come back and say. Hey, don't be funny, pen. What you doing? Don't do that to me. You can't be out of ink. I literally just filled you like a day ago. That is bizarre. I hate it when my flow stops. That means something's going on inside the pen that I need to address. And I don't feel like addressing it right now. So I'll come back. I don't like that. Flowers and florals. I need to talk about that. It's a whole thing. I noticed that I don't do a lot with flowers and florals, but I think I'm going to give myself a little challenge to work with flowers and florals. I don't think I own anything that actually has flower print on it that I like clothing. I don't think I own a single outfit, shirt, underwear, nothing that that I would wear on my body that has a floral print. I'm just not really a floral print kind of gal. And I'm like, am I missing out? Because I love flowers. I don't draw flowers. I don't really paint flowers. Like, I'm like, am I missing out on the flowers? Hold on, I feel some weirdness happening here. Don't be weird. Okay. So anyway, I've been thinking a lot about flowers and how they don't really show up in my work and the things that I do. Maybe I need to change that. Maybe I need to change that. I have certain flowers that I love and adore. And yeah. Okay. So let's look at what I've got here. 4x6. All right. I've got 4x6. I'm going to get myself some 4x6 pieces of paper. And I'm actually going to be really intentional about it. I'm going to use some of this cream colored sort of parchment paper. I like it. I'm going to cut it down to be 4x6 pieces, single sheets. Nobody want to tell me how you're doing in the chat? What's happening in your world? How you feeling? I think I'm going to go 6 across this direction. So, full moon in Scorpio. First of all, let's just talk about the full moon. Whenever the moon is full, it is a beautiful time for releasing that which does not serve you. Let me say that again. That which does not serve you. Release it, let it go. That's any full moon, not just the full moon in Scorpio. Any full moon is a good time for releasing and letting go of things, people, places, ideas, limiting beliefs, expectations, any of that. Great time to let things go. So I'm just sizing my paper up. I want to make it 4x6 individual sheets. See how many I can get. Oh, I don't like that little shift I just felt there. That was totally a shift. This is another reason why I tear my paper, because I can often hold the ruler a little bit better when I'm tearing versus when I'm cutting. Also, why I stand up when I'm cutting, because when I sit down and cut, I don't have the same amount of leverage. I got all kind of little bits here that are letting me know I was off with my cuts. Not gonna worry about it though. That's one set. Let's do another. So when the moon is full, first of all, y'all, you know you can go outside at night, right? When the moon is full and when it's new, but when it's full, it's like illuminated. It's bright, right? Go out and get some of that. Go out and experience that. That is yumminess, right? When the moon is doing that, we are so tied to the moon. So very like impacted and affected by it, right? Which is why I'm even mentioning it today on New Day, because I I'm pretty sure that what I'm experiencing right now with this news, information, whatever you want to call it, that I learned today about someone that, yeah, the news just made me sad to hear that. Yeah, someone that I don't want to out anybody and I don't want to seem catty. So I'm going to just say, people can disappoint you. Even more so when it comes to business. Man, people get really funny around their money and their in business. Like, woo-wee. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Actually, how do I want to do this? Yeah, I might have make it that 6, and then I can go 4 that way. Measure twice, cut once. So this full moon energy, Scorpio. So let's just get into it. Scorpio, real quick. Water sign. Fixed energy, which means it's the kind of energy that stuck or stubborn. It's the kind of energy that can be really challenging. Think about a scorpion. Right? There's a reason that scorpion is the mascot for Scorpio. That stingy, stabby energy can feel hard, can feel harsh. It can also be really, Scorpio is a really intense energy. And if you missed the time when I talked about all the astrology and the natal chart, go back and watch Letter Day In. Because what I also want to say is we all have Scorpio energy working in us and on us. So don't go pointing fingers at all your Scorpio friends. You got Scorpio in you too. We all do. So with that said, so I like, I'm going to pause for a moment. I like this tape because you can cut this tape before you use it. Like you can cut it and then it has a backing on it that you peel and use, right? And then the sticky side. So I like that for this project because I can cut these strips all to be sort of identical in the length of them, like how long they are. So I think I'll do that. I like to go about, let's do 3-inch pieces. We're going to keep this real simple. We can use a, and I'm, look, I said that and then I'm like, am I going to do that? I think what I'm going to do is get one piece cut. And then that piece is going to be my template piece for all the others. How about that? And may go a little faster if I do it that way. We'll see. I'm going to cut about 10 and see where we are. So you've got this full moon energy that's saying, hey, release, let go. Also celebrate, you know. Those of you that were in lunar letters with me today, don't forget to celebrate. There's also a harvest kind of energy that comes along with the full moon. But this Scorpio energy is an intense energy. It's an intense energy that points us towards our fears. It points us towards death and rebirth, transformation, intimacy. And not just intimacy in terms of like romantic intimacy, but like intimacy, the things, for instance, this issue that I'm dealing with today that I'm trying really hard not to name the person. I'm not going to name the person, first of all. Let's name that. I'm not going to do that because that would be out of alignment for who I am and out of integrity in this moment. If I thought this person was a harm or danger to others, then I would absolutely, I would out them. But no, we're not doing that. This is personal. But what I noticed is I've led myself to believe, they didn't do it, I did it. I led myself believe that there was a little more of an intimate business relationship there than there may be, right? And so I fought myself. I don't really fault them. I fought myself for letting myself think that it was, that we were really like on the same page, you know what I mean? Intimately on the same page. And then, I learned otherwise today, or in the last 24 hours. Okay, so we've got this energy out here, this scorpionic energy that is basically saying, let it go. Let it go, Kyla. You got intense feelings around this. You got some fears creeping up around it. You've got, and that's Scorpio. Scorpio shows us our fears. It also can often bring up past trauma for us, reminding us what our traumas have been. And I have been burned before in business collaborations and relationships. And so it doesn't surprise me that Scorpio is bringing that up, It's one of the hard things about being a business owner, especially in the day and age of so much information, being out in the world and the way in which we share. Everything I've ever shared publicly is still out there publicly for consumption. You know what I mean? And that can be scary. I get people who come work with me all the time who are like, I want to put my work out there, but I'm scared to do it because I feel like, right? And then we have companies like Temu who go and steal artists' work, and make it even less desirable to share what we're doing. And so, yeah, it's a crazy time we're living in, This wasn't an issue 50 years ago in the art world. Very different concerns they had, I think. All right, that's good. That's 11 of those. I was close. I said I was going to do 10. I wasn't counting, and I got close. Do 3 more of these. So yeah, it's interesting. I think it's also why we have a lot of talented people in the world who don't share their stuff, right? Because yeah, it's a lot of sticky, icky trickiness out there. But also I am one who believes that you can't live your life in fear. You can't run around not doing the thing that you're here to do, that makes you shine in the world, that helps you be of service to others, because you're afraid, of what somebody else will do or take from you or whatever. I just don't think that's a good way to move through the world. So Scorpio always shows us where our fears lie, right? That's a big part of it. And often those fears can be connected to trauma, to death and rebirth, to all sorts of things, right? That scorpionic energy. All right, I'm gonna move some stuff around. Sorry for the shaky camera. Deidre says headed to sleep soon. 3 a.m. wake up comes too soon. Whoo-wee, 3 a.m. Listen, I'm usually going to bed at 3 a.m. Deidre. Stephanie says, feeling relaxed, having a nice break after rearranging the craft room furniture today. Yay, I'm glad I'm here. I'm glad. I know it's later than I usually go, but yeah. All right. I think this could be a cute little tape bound journal. What y'all think? I think it can. Part of me feels like there has to be, I want to kind of roll this in the opposite direction. I feel like it's been rolled in one direction for so long that it doesn't know how to get itself to lay flat. Ah, very nice. Same here. Let's do that one. I'm glad you got to move your craft room furniture around. That's a good thing. Rearranging. Okay, that feels better because now that, still a little curve there. Christina says, peaceful, vacationing at my mom's in rural Oklahoma, enjoying acres of nature and clear sky sunset. Oh, I'm green with envy right now, Christina. Oklahoma. I've never been to Oklahoma. Wait, have I? No, never been to Oklahoma. I have to think. Sometimes I go Oklahoma, Idaho, Utah. Sometimes I forget which is which. Oklahoma. Never been there. Although I'm sitting here like, have I though? Name some major cities in Oklahoma for me, Christina, if you can, if you're still here. I can't remember. Don't think I've been there though. All right, so one way that we can, so this structure is all about alternating. Let me lay the foundation and the groundwork for you. Okay, we're gonna start by having, just think of it. Take one piece of paper. If you got one piece of paper that has 1, 2, 3 pieces of tape coming out on one side, and then this one is going to connect, you're going to want this one to have 2 strips that fit in those empty spaces. And this is going to be the alternating dance that we do back and forth. 3 on one, 2 on the other, flip, 3 on one, 2 on the other, flip, 3 on one, 2 on the other, flip. Okay, and keep doing that back and forth just to give you a lay of the land here of what we're about to embark upon. Southeastern Oklahoma is called Green Country. Tulsa, Oklahoma. Tulsa, Oklahoma City, McLeester. Have I been to Tulsa? I don't think so. I don't think I've been to Oklahoma. Been to Utah for sure. Nope. Been to Idaho. See, I get them. All the Midwest becomes one clump for me. And that's not me throwing shade. That's me saying, I don't think I learned geography in elementary, middle, high school. I think I just like ignored it maybe. I don't know. Oklahoma fits in the crook of northeastern Texas. Yeah. Yep. I can see it on the map. Thank you for that little geography lesson. All right. So the way you can get these things to be straight, if that matters to you, I think I want these to be on the outside, is to use something like this cutting mat, right? Because then I can go, okay, I'm going to do 1, 2. See how I'm using the cutting mat? And 3. I'm trying to space these out. So, right, so I can use my cutting mat to help me kind of get that going. The other thing I can do is use the cutting mat for how far in I want to go with each one. So I've got these dots here. So this is only if you care about it being like somewhat precise, right? So I'm going to start with that. This is going to be fun, peeling this tape off. Almost cut my nails today too, so maybe this is why I did not. So I can use my nails to peel tape. All right, let me lay that there and lay that there. Don't need it to stick to my table, so I'm just sticking it to this. I'm going to use my line here as my guidepost. And I'm just going to repeat this process over and over again. All right, so here's the last few things I want to say about this Scorpio full moon. Because the full moon, or because the moon in general, impacts our emotional self, sometimes even our drive, and our, emotional well-being. It brings up all this stuff. Also impacts and affects our intuition, our intuitive self. There may be some of that comes up for you in this full moon energy, right? Of just like emotionally connecting to some of your fears being brought up, maybe some of your intimacy issues or desires being brought up. All right, so I'm going to take that one. I'm going to flip it over. I'm going to move it over here. I'm going to keep it kind of straight on my and lined up on my desk here. Now I'm going to bring in my first piece of paper. And I'm just going to line it up here so I can see where to put it for my thing. But this isn't where it's going to live. It's going to get flipped over to that side. So I'm going to go alternate and go with the flowers on the alternating one. And you'll see how this all makes sense. The first one's a little tricky because it doesn't look like it makes any sense what you're doing. But it does. Okay, I had to think. So I'm going to go in between, and I was trying to look at how far over I needed to go for this. So I'm going to do the same thing I did before. I'm going to use my line to line me up. Only going to stick to this. Those of you that are here that maybe are not like if you're like, I'm trying to chat, but I can't chat with you. It could be because you were not a subscriber. So just hit that subscribe button and then you'll be able to chat with me probably within 10 minutes of subscribing. All right, so I've got my two pieces. See the setup? This is going to be repeated over and over and over again. Okay. 3, 2, flip, 3, 2, flip. Well, sorry, 3, 2, flip. Then it'll be 3 on the next one, and it'll be alternated. You'll see. Here, let's just do it. All right, so now I'm going to pick this up. I'm going to bring it over and line it up edge to edge here. So I like to line it up on the what is eventually going to be my spine edge. But because I've tried to cut these super perfect, it should also line up to the foredge of my book. All right, so if I lay that down like that, I'm not very happy with the placement. I kind of wish this was a little more over here. So I am going to just do a little, I'm going to do a little fudging. See if this, no, I'm not moving it because that tape is there. That tape is stuck on. All right, so once you get that second sheet down, now this is me being super fussy. You don't have to be this fussy with yours. Like you can just slap it down, tape it on, keep it moving. I'm being a little fussy because I do want everything to be just so. I'm not going to be, I think I'm going to get annoyed with being this fussy going forward, but we'll see. Let's try to start it out right, aren't we? Okay. So now, because this piece of paper has two tapes on it, 2 pieces of tape, I'm going to fold over the 3. Okay, the 3 pieces are now going to get folded over. This is the other reason why I did different colors. I mean, different, like alternated them so that I can see if I accidentally pull over the flower when it's supposed to be the ledger. All right, so that's my first one. So I'm just going to keep doing that. I'm going to bring this one over, bring over a new sheet. I know that I need to go now to my ledger again. How about I do... Sorry, I'm looking for some sort of thing to sit on this to weigh it down. How about... I use my little dusty... Oh, that's dusty. It's a sign of not being used enough. I'm going to sit this down and see if it can't be my paperweight to hold that in place. Okay, so now let's do this. And then this time I'm going to come in again with 3 in the same spots. All right, so What do I want to say? Yeah, so releasing, full moon energy is about releasing. It's about celebrating, right? Because the moon also is very much, was very much used for gardening, right? So farmers and gardeners would use it. They plant certain things when the moon is full. Harvest was usually happening when the moon was full, harvesting something, because the moon is on this cycle, right? And so things that were growing are also on a cycle. The things we're growing in our gardens and on our farms, also very much on a cycle. Cycles and systems. All right, so in this full moon energy, I invite you, if you really want to try to harness it, we do a lot of work in Pulp and Paint around harnessing the moon's energy for manifesting. Manifesting the things we say we want in our lives. All right, I'm going to pick up that one. I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to lay it down. As best I can on that same little edge there. And this time I'm bringing over the 2 because it has 3 on it. So you bring over the 2. So now I should see florals. All right. Repeat. I don't know how many of these I'm going to end up doing, y'all, because it's feeling already like a bit tedious. Again, it's only feeling tedious to me, I think, because I'm trying to keep it all so super straight. And even in doing this extra step to keep it all straight, it's going to be a little bit wonky because it is a handmade journal, i.e., that means it should, and I don't use the word should a lot, but that means it should have some imperfections. Should not be perfect. Shouldn't look like a machine did it. Okay? I'm not a machine. I am a human. So spend some time journaling when the full moon comes in on Tuesday. You got between now and Tuesday to sit down and figure out like what's coming up for you around your Scorpio energy. If you are an advanced practitioner of astrology, or even if you're like in that intermediate space where you're learning, you're like an adventurous beginner, I invite you to look at the house in your natal chart, the house that Scorpio is sitting in, and that'll give you some clues around what this energy might be bringing up for you. Flowers. Nope, that's flowers. Oh, why don't I know what I'm doing next? I just lost my train. Okay. Whenever I'm doing 3, it's going to always be. Did I just mess that up now talking? Hold on. Let's see. Nope, flowers. Okay, that's right. I'm going to need way more tape also, I'm noticing. But you know what? I have been trying to figure out how to use up this tape. I have so much washi, so much friggin' tape. I need to use it up, so I should not be afraid in this moment to use up my tape because I need to. I need a reason to use it up. So again, like I said, if you have some really good sticky washi tape, this will be a great project to start using up some of your washi. All right. Okay, so in this full moon energy, last thing I'm going to say about this, and then we're going to move on to something else. particularly something that starts with a U, since this is U Day. Grab your journal and just journal a little bit about, ask yourself, like, what are some of the fears that I have right now that are coming up for me pretty heavily? What are the fears that I grapple with on a consistent basis, especially as it relates to, I just did a horrible job on that. But it's down now. I don't think I can. I think I might have a 2-second window here since I didn't use my bone folder yet. I'm going to try to get that a little straighter than I had it. Okay, that's a little better. Some of the fears that might be coming up, especially around the areas of life affected by Scorpio. So death and rebirth, transformation, intimacy, trauma, power and control, psychological things. All of that is in the realm and the wheelhouse of Scorpio. That's all Scorpio's wheelhouse. I can see that was kind of weird. Okay, what do I have here? Let me talk a little bit about ugly art. Let's talk about ugly art. And in order to talk about ugly art, I have to give a shout out to the ladies of the Ugly Art Club. That's Tiffany Smith, Dee Dee Catron, and Kristen Peterson. And their alter ego names, i.e. their social media handles, are Dee Dee goes by Wow Studio. She also goes by Dee Dee Catron, but Wow Studio is her shop. She sells some pretty cool stuff in there. Kristen goes by Altered State Studio. Kristen Peterson does. And Tiffany goes by Southern Gals Design. With an S. Designs. The one I just laid down had 2. Right, okay. And they run the Ugly Art Club, which is a monthly membership. I am both a member and I was the very first guest teacher. I feel pretty honored about that. I was their first guest teacher. So every month they have a guest teacher. And every month you get 4 videos, 4 tutorials. You get one from, let me cut some more of these. You get one from Tiffany, one from all the founders. So you get 3 from the ladies who founded the club. And then you get a guest artist. And I keep bumping this thing, don't I? Sorry, y'all. Let's see. Deidre says, I wish I knew more about the birth charts. Printed it out, and I'm looking forward to the class you're going to teach soon. I can't make sense out of all the gobbledygook lines. All right, Deidre, see ya. Good night. And I remember when they started the Ugly Art Club, when they announced it, when they started like talking about it and teasing and saying, I think their tagline is something like ugly art is still art. And I remember seeing people kind of being offended by it, being like, I'm not going to call my art ugly art. And I was like, oh, this is interesting, that the reaction people are having to this. And there's a part of me that totally, when I sat down and really thought about it, I was like, okay, I see why people are having their own little feelings about it. I shouldn't say little feelings. Wow, that's so diminishing. That's not how I meant for that to sound, y'all. Little feeling, big feeling, that it's not about the size of the feeling. For some people, that's a real feeling. You know what I mean? So let me not sound like I'm diminishing it. I'm absolutely not my intention. So I apologize if it felt that way in that moment. But people were having feelings about it. Okay, they were like, ugly art. Why would I ever call my art ugly? And I think I understood where people were coming from because I feel the same way about junk journaling. I'm like, why would I call my journaling junk? Um, and so I totally understood the initial reaction people had to it. But I think that people, once the three ladies start really kind of talking about their vision and why they were doing that, so many people stop themselves from creating because they fear that their art is going to be ugly. So the Ugly Art Club ladies were like, well, what if we just go ahead and say, yeah, I'm going to make some ugly art. That's my whole point. I'm going to sit down today and make ugly art. Because what ends up happening when you do that, guess what? At the end of the day, you've made some art, right? So that word ugly, I think, rubbed some people the wrong way. And in the South, we say, if you get rubbed the wrong way like that, you're just not my people. You're not my people. That's okay. If me trying to do something really good for you hurts your feelings or makes you uncomfortable, it just means you're not my people. I'm okay with that. But I think the brilliancy behind bringing our awareness to like just make ugly art, it moves us, it gets that inner critic quiet faster, right? Because the inner critic is not gonna, the inner critic likes to tell you, oh, this is ugly, why are you doing that? I mean, that's kind of how the inner critic works. Sorry y'all, I realize I need to close my blinds. It's nighttime. It's nighttime. So anyway, I think if we can all just like giving yourself permission, like taking some of the power away from, oh, the art has to be beautiful and it has to be, perfect. Man, I think that can do some wonders for us, for our psyche, for our creative journeys. So I really applaud them for highlighting this. And so they give you 4 opportunities every month to make ugly art that you love, that you usually will end up loving. And if you don't end up loving it, then guess what? Maybe you just scratch something off your list. You're like, yeah, don't like that. Never doing that again. Right? So, yeah, that part. So I try, and here's the other piece. What if you, I think the whole idea of embracing ugly art also can take some of the pressure to perform on Instagram, to perform on social media, to be like, you have to show everything to everybody all the time. You don't have to show everybody everything you make. I don't. And I'm proud of that. I'm actually proud that I don't have this deep need and desire to get validation from everybody for every little thing I do. Right? Yeah, I just don't. I don't have that. That's not a part of my makeup. I really don't care if other people like what I do. Honestly. Now, it took me some time to get to that because I'm human. And I've been conditioned by other humans to believe that I should care what they think and how they feel about what I do, what I write, what I create. And the honest to goodness truth is, yeah. Yeah. Hi, Rena. Welcome. Rena says, I want to get to the point that I don't need to share everything I create. Yeah. And let me tell you, there's a class I'm going to be teaching in the fall in my academy called Shadow Work for Creatives, because I want to help creatives recognize where that's coming from, because it's programming, y'all. It's coming from somewhere, right? We are programmed to, whether it's coming from your desire and need for praise, whether it's coming from your desire and need for approval, whether it's coming from your desire or need to be seen, whether it's coming from your desire to help and inspire others, whether it's coming from a desire to want to teach people, whether it's coming from the desire to feed the algorithm so you stay relevant and you stay in people's feeds. That is in the wrong spot right there. I'm using the wrong tape. All right, let's see if I can correct my error. Go slowly. But noticing where that need is coming from. Is it coming from just programming, right? Like, you're an artist, you're meant to share your art. Like, I guarantee you, people who back before Instagram was a thing, before social media was a thing, how were people sharing their art? What did that look like? Right? Go back in your mind to that. How did you consume art? How did you see other people's art? How did you get inspired by other people's art? Right? I read an article once about how social media has made people narcissistic, has created a narcissistic culture. Me, look at me. Look at what I'm doing. Look at how great my stuff is, right? Like, it has created this. And not just for artists, but this is also for people who like, me. Look at this new job I just got. Look at how great I'm doing in my job. Hey, look at me traveling. Hey, look at me buying a new car. Hey, look at me going into Starbucks and getting the new fancy pumpkin spice lattes, right? Like, just all the things, right? And it's created a culture of oversharing as well, of like, nothing is sacred or special anymore, right? So it's an interesting thing to note and pay attention to, and to not judge yourself on. That part is hard, I know, but that's the shadow work piece. Like, don't judge yourself. Just notice. Notice that you like sharing your stuff. Notice when sharing your stuff feels heavy and hard and difficult. Notice when sharing your stuff feels nurturing and life-giving. It actually lights you up instead of sucking you dry. Right? Notice how seeing other people's stuff impacts you and affects you. All of these things are, again, important things to note. Don't judge yourself. This one has 2, so 3. Don't judge yourself about how you're doing it and what you've been doing and all the things. Just notice. Just notice. And the shadow work is when you feel like you have to justify it. Well, I'm sharing all the time because I just really like to share with people. I like to inspire. I like to da-da-da-da. Right. True. That's real. But there's always a point where it crosses the line, and it becomes less I'm trying to inspire and more I'm trying to impress. It becomes less about, oh, I'm trying to teach, and more I'm trying to compete. The blessing and the burden of what I do in the world The blessing is I'm freaking good at what I do. And I'm not talking about my art. I'm talking about the work I do with people around creative and spiritual awakening, around having people, teaching people and supporting people through their creative and spiritual awakenings, through their empowerment phases, helping them get to a more empowered version of themselves, a more sovereign version of themselves. I'm good at what I do. I've been doing it for a long time. I've been studying and walking this path as well. I don't teach anything that I don't live. And I don't ask people to do anything I'm not willing to do. And so because I'm someone who walks the talk, I'm about to do it again. Stop it. Get the right one out. Listen, I'm almost feeling like I have probably made a mistake at some point. I'm like, am I doing this? Yeah. Okay. I think I'm still on track now. I don't think I've messed up. We'll see. We'll see at the end, won't we? But because I'm someone who walks the talk, I'm not just over here reading the book and then telling you what the book said. You can read the book on your own. I'm over here saying, try this. This has worked for me. Now, everything that works for one person doesn't work for everybody. All right. But here's where we get individualized. We start to look at your charts. We look at your human design chart. We look at your astrology chart. Your astrology chart will show me exactly why you do the things you do. You feel the way you feel about the things you do. It'll show me your preferences and your tendencies. It will show me your default programming, imprinting. It will show me where you're going to have lots of lessons and challenges. And it'll also show me where you have opportunities for deep growth, deep transformation, deep healing in your life. It'll show me some of your wounding. It'll show me some of the work you're here to do in the world. Your human design will reinforce that. It'll show me, or you, not just me, but it will show you where you're going to play out these themes, these repeated patterns over and over again, right? And this is how we start to heal. This is how we start to shift and change, grow and learn, and become the best version of ourselves. Because the best version of you might be a version that isn't actually benefiting, growing, learning, healing by sharing every little thing you do. That might actually be counterproductive to your journey of healing and transformation. All right. So anyway, I won't go too much more into that, other than to say, we all need, as artists, as creatives, we all need to give ourselves and I say this definitively, and I feel good about saying we all need, right? And if you haven't done it, don't come for me. Don't put messages in the chat and send me emails saying one size doesn't fit all. I agree with you. That's why I just said we look at your charts, because your chart shows me your unique makeup, shows me your unique preferences and tendencies. But what is also true is, as artists, we all need to make art for ourselves at some point. We all need to make art that is not dependent on what anybody else thinks, feels, or says. We all need to learn how to love our art and our creations no matter what. If nobody else gives us a high five, a like, a thumbs up, a heart, or a word of wow or excited, like if nobody ever, we ought to get to a place where we don't need anybody else's validation. We don't need anybody else to even see it. We all need to be able to create art that is just for us. Period. And that's important. Art that nobody else sees. Creations that nobody else sees. We have to have that, y'all. We have to. All right, that's me on my soapbox. So coming back to ugly art and the power of ugly art. If we give ourselves permission to make what others might call ugly, or what we consider to be like, yeah, you know, this isn't my best, and I'm actually going into it knowing it's not going to be my best, right? When I look back at some of my very first attempts at doing what other people were calling art journaling, goodness, I'm like, ooh, what is this about? What was I doing? I had no idea. And I'm also super proud of those, because what they say to me is that I started and I showed up on the page. And that, my friends, is a big freaking deal. Whether anybody ever saw it, will see it, or anything else. All right, so I think I'm going to run out of tape before I run out of paper. So let's see. I'm going to keep going here. And I'm feeling pretty proud that I'm about to use up this tape that I have had. What year did he release this tape? I've had it since then. And I think I've barely used it for anything. I mean, I've used it here or there, bits and pieces. But, you know, it's time. It's time to start using up the stuff, y'all. It's time for me to start using up these things. So make ugly art. Make ugly art. Make lots of ugly art. I was listening to a podcast. I'm going to just say sometime last year. And I don't remember who. It was an artist being interviewed on a podcast that actually is not an art podcast. But this person was interviewing an artist. And the artist said, I mean, we've all heard the whole 10,000 hours to become proficient at something, blah, 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 right? We've all heard that probably at some point in some situation, in some area of life. But this woman was talking about how she found her style. This was all about voice and style or whatever. And she was talking about how she found her style by drawing. I want to say this was Lisa Congdon, maybe. Don't quote that. Do not quote that. But that's who just came to mind. I think it was her. And she was talking about how she would draw the same thing over and over and over and over and over, like 200, 300 times. And she was like, I know that sounds obsessive and it sounds like excessive, like a lot. But she would just keep repeating the same. So let's say, and I think she has a book. I think this is, and I think I bought it, but it's a book like something like 100 ways to draw a chair or something like that. 100 ways to draw a flower. She has several of those books, I think. And she was talking about how her signature style came after she would always kind of show up on the page after she tried to draw the thing, the chair, the mug, the banner, whatever it was. Not after drawing it 5 times, 10 times, or 3 times, but after like 100 tries. And I want to say tries, attempts, sketches, whatever. And she was like, it always pains her when she hears young artists. So I guess she does a lot of talks to like new art students at colleges and something like that. Anyway, students who are new, who are learning art, like in art school kind of situation. And they're always going, well, I'm never going to find it feels like I'm never going to find my signature style. I'm never going to find my voice. I'm never, and they struggle with it. And she's like, well, show me how many, whatevers that you've drawn. Like, show me your work. And they'll bring in their little portfolios that they have, and they'll, and it'll be like, they drew 3 houses and 7 cars and 6 portraits of people, not even the same person. And it'll be all this work that shows their, the different things that they've tried as artists. But she's like, this doesn't impress me. What impresses me is if I saw that you tried to draw the same person 100 times. I would be impressed by that. That would impress me. She was like, but to draw it 7 times, not really that impressive. So anyway, let's see. Rena says, let me drink a little water here. Rena says 100 tries is like doing the 100-day project and only walking away with the last day's art. That is patience. Yeah. Patience and consistency, I think, too, right? And then she even went on to say, I'm not saying you have to draw it the same way every single time for 100 or 200 times. I'm saying attempt it. Like if you're using a reference photo, keep that reference photo and keep coming back to it over and over again. Try it once in watercolor. Try it with pen and ink. Try it with acrylic. Try it with collage. Try, like keep. And I'm like, this is real. Like this is something that we do in writing when we teach writing to kids or to adults, anybody that we're teaching to find their voice, right? We're saying, okay, write that same poem, but make it funny. Write that same short story over again, but this time make the mother angry. Write that dialogue as if she's angry this time. Right? Same context, same scenario, same situation, but make her angry. Write that poem again, but write it from the perspective of the dog in the poem instead of right? Like keep working it and playing with it and finding your thing, finding your voice. So anyway, all of that to say, I think what's funny is, and somebody's going to get offended when I say this, I love you. This comes from my heart. This is real. This is also me talking about myself and noticing this about myself too. This is why I make prototypes. Everything you make the first time is technically ugly. If you don't make another one because you're satisfied with the first one, it just means you're satisfied with it being that first one. Make that same thing 30 more times and see if you still like the first one the best. And if you do, bravo. Bravo. I would always find it so interesting when my students would write a poem in class, and then I would say, okay, go home and refine that. And they would come back with the exact same poem. They hadn't changed anything. Nothing is different. Because in their mind, the poem was perfect the first time I wrote it. Miss Givehand, Professor Givehand. I wrote a perfect poem the first time. How do you know? How do you know it was perfect if you didn't try to refine it, change it, do anything different? How do you know that? All right, so I think there's something really magical. Yeah, I'm not going to get through all those papers because I'm going to run out of tape before I do. But what I also know, now I'm talking about this book, I started with the ledger, so I'm going to make sure I leave out 2 over here of the ledger because I want to end. I want my final, the back of the book to have ledger on it, since the front of the book has ledger. That's my goal. And that's just some planning. That's just a little bit of planning on my part. So anyway, make ugly art. That's what I'm saying and suggesting. Make lots and lots of ugly art, y'all. Like, what if you gifted yourself that? What if you sat down and said, I'm gonna make some ugly art today? How freeing is that? So I feel like the ladies at the Ugly Art Club are on something good there. I feel like they definitely struck a place in me that needed to be. Oh, I need 3. Ooh, I'm so happy I realized that. I need 3 for the last one, not 2. Just enough. It's like perfect. Perfection. The perfect number, because guess what? I don't have any more of this tape lingering around here. And yes, I could probably go buy more tape tomorrow or whatever, but nope. Not doing that. Not doing that. All right, so moving on from ugly art. I do hope, though, that you all will give yourself permission to sit down some days and just go, you know what? I'm going to make ugly art. And this is not just for art. This is also for, all right, where's the last one here? This is also for, oh, no, we're not. No, we're not. No, we're not. No, we're not. One more floral. One more floral. I feel pretty proud of myself that I caught that just now. Look at me. I'm also noticing how wonkadoodle this is. I'm looking on the side there. Woo-wee. It's going to be awesome. What was I saying, y'all? Lost that train of thought. Hold, please. Let's see if I can get it back on the track and bring it back to the station. What was I saying? Yeah, I don't know. Other than, I do know. I was saying this doesn't just apply to art journaling, art in this way, any creative endeavor, right? This is true for our writers, for the writers among us too, right? Like, write bad writing, write stories that are garbage, horrible. You just, can't even believe I wrote that. What was I thinking? Ugh. Right? That. Do that. Do more of that. Because at the end of the day, that means you've been writing. You've been creating. Now we're at the end here. Look at that perfect timing. Okay. So UFOs, unfinished objects. Unfinished objects. I have plenty of them. I don't even know what I wanted to say about that other than I have plenty of them. And I think some of them are unfinished. Oh, this is a great segue. I didn't even think about this, but some of them are unfinished because I have this unrealistic expectation. Oh, wait, let me think about this, y'all. Nope, this can't go here yet. Oh, when I flip that over, it's going to end up being this. Shucks. Darn it. Okay, now I'm having a moment. Hold, please. I'm just going to look through my little washi tape bin here. And see if maybe I do have another roll of this. I'm almost certain I don't, though. I would be shocked if there's another roll of this Tim Holtz in here, because I'm seeing that I I messed up my count. So I may have to just suck it up, buttercup. I may have to suck it up, buttercup. Foo. Fooly booly. Yep, I don't have another one. All right. Well, that idea went sideways fast. Okay. So I think I'm gonna take that off of there. Gonna lay that down. Let's do another floral. So yeah, unfinished objects. I think a big part of it is because I still am very much conditioned to feel like if I finish it, then I'm basically saying it's perfect. What am I doing here? Let me try to get my thoughts together, y'all. This needs to have this one. And I think that holds me back from finishing the thing, is feeling like the thing has to be perfect when it's finished. And that, like I'm doing here, see how much painstaking time I'm having with like, oh no, I can't, now I don't get to have ledger on the back. It's got to be floral, blah, 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 right? Who cares? I mean, I care, but in the grand scheme of life, it ain't that big of a deal. In the grand scheme of things. If this is the worst thing that happens in my day, week, month, or year, I'm going to count myself lucky. I'm going to count myself lucky. I'm going to say, hey, I got a charmed life, baby. If this tape running out and not letting me have that as my back of my book is the worst thing that happens to me, woo-wee, I'll take it. I will take it. So yeah, that part. All right, now, nope. I don't think I'm ever gonna get this. I don't know what I'm doing. At this point, I'm just gonna keep going until I can't go anymore. I had this one sitting over here waiting. And I have gotten so, like, it's going to be fun to see how far off I've gotten on the spine. It's going to be like a little zigzag situation happening. And we're going to call that character. We're going to call it character. Thank you, Christina. Thank you. Did you look ahead? Did you look ahead and see that it's going to work? Because my brain can't look ahead, apparently. Okay, so I think those unfinished projects stay unfinished. Yep. Okay, I see exactly what I need to do. This, I need to do this. This is what needs to happen next. Let's see. Make that the cover with no more tape. Yeah, I think this is what you're saying, Christine. I'm just seeing it. I feel like you were writing it when I was having the epiphany. Either way, I'm going to take what you wrote there as my confirmation and my direction. Both. So yeah, I think perfectionism gets in the way of completing projects. personally. At least that seems to be my situation. Oh, I see what you're saying. I don't need this tape. Lord have mercy, bless my heart. Bless my heart. It's kind of day. I think that's what the words no more tape mean. No more tape. All right, so we're wrapping this up. We're finishing it up. We're calling it finished. We're not calling it perfect. And that's what I meant by sometimes projects don't get finished because we think they got to be perfect. That's the only way you can call it finished. But no one's saying call it perfect. They're saying call it finished. So we're going to call this finished perfectly. Dun, dun, dun. All right, so now I'm going to come in and start doing a little bit of zhuzhin. But look at that. Look at that. Oh, I love it so much. All I want to do now is go and buy more of this fabric tape because I feel like this fabric tape just gave me life. Yum. Oh, yum-y. Look at that. And it's not perfect, but look at these are close. They're close. Right? And even if they weren't, the book functions like a book. And that's what we care about. But you can see where I went sort of off in certain places, right? And then you can see where I nailed it in other places. And nailed it in other places, right? So I love it. This little structure is really cool. Also, what could be fun? Let's just name some things you could do that would be fun. You could totally, I don't think I would do this, but you could totally use just masking tape and then go through and do masking tape going across if it bothers you to see these little edges. But I'm going to use this for some writing, I think. I don't know. The other thing is you have to think about, like, do you care that the tape is showing, right? You could go through and take the time it takes to, like, cover that up. The book would still be, but I wouldn't do that. I think that's the beauty of this, right? Is that tape is in there. Is this not the coolest freaking thing? I love it. I don't use this structure enough. Not at all. And I love it. It's a great structure. It has so much flexibility. And this right here lets you see that you got room for growth, right? You can put some stuff in there. Stephanie says, and now we know that nice tape works on the cork fabric. Yeah, it does. It works on that cork fabric. I love this so very much. I'm going to put a little note for myself on here. Today is, oh, I need a thinner. I want a thinner black line than this one gives me. That one might be too thin. This one, I don't know if it writes. I think this one is dead and gone. Dried out. This one's good. All right. Why am I holding on to this one if it's done? I have to double check it. All right. So 4/21/24. YouTube Live. ABCs of me. Letter U. Yay. Loving it. I'm going to let that dry a little bit so it doesn't smear. I'm going to drink a little bit of water and I'm going to say, don't let perfectionism get in the way of finishing projects. Practicing what I preach right here. This is me practicing what I preach. Don't let perfectionism get in the way of those UFOs, those unfinished objects. Unboxing. I have one thing I want to unbox. Actually, two things I want to unbox. So I'm going to do that in a moment here. I've got a little bit of time left. I said I was going to go about, I'm a little over than what I said. I was going to do 90 minutes. We're going to keep going until Damon comes in here and says class is done. At that point, I will stop. So I just feel so, I don't even know. I feel so good about this paper tape. And this is one of those moments, right, where I go, okay, I've used it all up. That one roll. I still have a little bit of the, what is this? What are we calling this? Floral. I have a little bit of the floral pattern. I also have this little extra here. Why don't we make this a little flip out? Let's make us a little flip out. Let's make a little flip out here. See. Yes, sir. Yes, sirree. Little flip out. Oh, I'm going to have to shave a tiny scooch off of it to get it to fold properly. Make us a little tiny flip out. I'm going to shave off a sliver. All right, bonus points if you can name the cartoon movie where one of the characters says, "Excuse me, lady, do you have any leftover liver?" What cartoon is that? Who knows? Who knows? Who knows? Look at that little flippity floppity. Oh, I'm so easily amused. So much so that I think it'll be fine. I think it could have been a tad bit closer, but I think it's good. Loving it. I'm loving it. Not to advertise for McDonald's or anything, but I like it a lot. Okay. Lots of stuff I didn't talk about, but we did that. Let's do a couple little unboxings, and then I will skedaddle for the day. I mean, I can talk about unicorns if you like. No, seriously though, I have been obsessed with unicorns forever because, well, number one, I'm obsessed with mythology. And they show up in mythology. I'm also going to turn my heater on because can somebody, those of you that live up north and in these very cold places, could you close your door? You're letting all of that cold come here into Florida. What's happening? We went for a walk earlier today at like 3 o'clock in the afternoon, roughly, give or take. No, it was more like 4, 5. But it was a time when the sun was blaring and it was cold out there. What? Please close your windows and stop letting that stuff come seep down here to us in Florida. We don't want it. I don't want it. Hey, Damon, are you done? Is class done? Is that my cue to start wrapping it up? Is that my cue? All right, let's do a little unboxing here. I have this deck that I have not opened, and I'm going to go ahead and tell you, I feel like I'm going to look at it first. So I don't want to say it prematurely. I'll hold until after I open it and do a little unboxing and look at it. Animal Guides Tarot by Radley Valentine. Illustrations by Dan Craig. Craig. Let's check it out before I say what I was going to say about it. And while I'm opening this, multi-passionate. I don't want to forget that today because I said I was going to talk about it yesterday and I didn't. So let me talk about it right now and say, I saw someone share a meme Oh, I like deer. Deer's my little spirit guide, little spirit animal. Um, mm. The person wrote something about there is no such thing as being multi-passionate. What? What now? I call BS on that. I feel like I felt personally attacked by that statement. I felt personally attacked. I was like, what do you mean there's no such thing as multi-passionate? You're trying to tell me I can only have one passion, one thing that I love and care about? So I was like, you know what? Maybe this person just has a different definition of passionate than I do. Because to me, passions are things that you would do if nobody paid you. You would do it if nobody else showed up to see it. You would do it if the rest of the world had no idea you were doing it. You're that passionate about it. It keeps you up at night. It wakes you up in the middle of the night. You wake up in the morning and it's all you can think about and want to do. Right? That's passion. Something that is just like burning inside of you. You can't, like, you're just like, oh, I gotta do it. I have to show up. I have to, right? I think people often say multi-passionate or they say passion when what they really mean is I kind of like it. I kind of like that thing, right? Like I'm pretty passionate and a little bit obsessed with fountain pens. Like I don't talk about 80% of the stuff. Yeah, I show lots of fountain pens and I write with them all the time, but I am a student of fountain pens. Right? I have a magazine I subscribe to that's all about fountain pens. I read about fountain pens. I have a couple of coffee table books about fountain pens. Fountain pens, I'm passionate about them because I know what they have done for me in terms of helping me slow down, right? They are meditative for me. Right? And and I can't even explain why they matter so much to me, but they do. I'm passionate about it. I don't wake up every day thinking about fountain pens, but I come into this room and I'm like, okay, which pen do I want to write with today? It is a thing. It's like top of mind for me. So, and I do, like when somebody opens that door and ask me about fountain pens, I always go, are you sure you want me to answer that? You want the long version or the short version? Because I can talk for hours, days, weeks, months, probably years about fountain pens. Right? So, and it's because I'm passionate about them. I'm passionate about journaling. I understand the power and the magic of journaling. I understand what it can do to empower you, how it can change, shift, and transform your life. I'm passionate about it. And not just art journaling. I'm talking about written journaling. I'm passionate about written journaling because, Damon, if you're there, type it in. Write, W-R-I-T-E, write, R-I-G-H-T. You want to write your life, R-I-G-H-T, then you need to be writing your life, period. And I will stand on that mountain, that hill, that soapbox till the cows come home and the pigs fly and the hot place freezes over. All right, let's look at these cards really quickly. The Fool card, the Dreamer, Shepherd Puppy. You are starting a new adventure. Run free and take a leap of faith. Oh my God. Oh my God. Come on, y'all. If nobody else gasped when you saw that unicorn, who are you? You had to gasp. You had to go, oh, there's a unicorn. I promise you all saw me open this deck for the first time. I love it. There is magic in the air. You can manifest everything you need to be successful. All right. So originally I was going to say, I think I'm going to give this deck away. But the fact that the unicorn showed up, y'all, come on. And let's see what the chariot is. Let's get to the chariot. That's the owl for high priestess. The Angora rabbit is for empress. The emperor is the deer mouse. Polar bear for unity. Love it. Also making me think about Coca-Cola commercials. See, programming. I see a polar bear, I think Coca-Cola commercials. I have not taken a sip of a Coca-Cola in 30 years, but that's my brain. It goes right there. The Lover's Flamingo, so perfect. Chariot, Arabian horse. Let's pause and look at it for a moment. You can successfully balance. What was my word? What was my card for today? Balance. Various or opposing energies at once through determination and focus. Various or opposing energies at once with determination and focus. You've earned the rewards and recognition you're receiving. Well, hello. Okay, so I guess I'm keeping this deck. Originally, I was going to say, I think I might give this deck away. But apparently, I'm keeping this deck. I don't like the size of it. It's really wide, but, you know, I might trim it. I might trim these edges to make it shorter, like, because it's big, it's wide in my hand. I like Elephant for Justice. All right, I like that Firefly for Hermit. That's so perfect. Yes, good job, Radley Valentine. Reindeer / caribou for the will. Let's see. This is the other one that matters. Maasai lion and lamb. True strength is displayed through kindness, forgiveness, and compassion. You have tremendous personal power and courage. Yeah, I'm going to keep this deck because it is telling me everything right now that I need to be told in this moment. All the way back to when I said at the beginning that it's been a hard 24 hours. A lot of hard pills to swallow. And the Chariot and the Strength card and the Magician are all showing me exactly what I need to see right now. So, all right, that's interesting. 12, they chose, instead of Hanged Man, they chose Awakening. Okay, I'll get down with that. Instead of Death, they chose Release for Peacock. I love it. This is my year card, Death card. So they have chosen to go with Release, Peacock. It's time to release the past and move on to something new. This ending is the first step on the way to a happier future. Say it again. Say it again. Balance. Again, bringing that in. Zebra. Zebra is one of Damon's little animals. By merging varying points of view, you can generate an extraordinary new idea. Compromise with others and collaborate to discover a better solution. So many good messages for me. All right, 15 is usually the devil card, but they went with ego, so that's different. Siamese cat. 16 is usually Tower. That's so weird that my brain is like, what is it when I don't see the image? Tower. Cuckoo. The cuckoo. Life experience. I like that. 17 is the star. That's our hope energy. The Oriole. Moon is lynx. Nice. Ooh, I like the little face in the moon there. That's nice. Nice touch. 19 sun. Bluebird. 20 is usually judgment, but they've got raccoon. I love it because I'm going to go ahead and tell you this. When I see raccoons, I'm judging them every single time. Y'all bad, what y'all into? What are you doing? Stop it, whatever you're doing. I already judged them. Where y'all coming from? What trash have you messed up? Stop it. So it's good that they're standing in for the judgment card. But I like the word renewal. Really nice. Really nice choice. Oh, the Shetland sheepdog for the world. Love it. Love it. Pretty dog. All right, so let's see what they did with I'm not going to go through all of them, but I want to see what they did for the suits. For the wands, they have fire, and the cards are red. For water, they've got a teal blue. Oh, I wish they would have done something like a yellow for the air cards. Blue is an interesting choice for air. Not the choice I would have made, but also it's not my deck. I didn't make it. They get to choose whatever they want. And then, so those are swords, and earth or pentacles. So let's see how they handled is it going to be all tigers? Nope. All different animals. Very nice. Let's see how they handled the court cards. Ooh, that's a nice one for Page of Fire, Monarch. I feel like this is a good deck for a beginner with tarot, an adventurous beginner, because it can also be confusing if you start with this deck and then you want to go learn tarot from a traditional standpoint. It might be a little confusing, but I think this is a good soft version of tarot. I think they've done a good job sort of softening what most people think of when they think of tarot. So Monarch Butterfly for the page. The Knight is the dolphin. Queen is the Persian cat. And the King, ooh, nice, Katanga lion. Now that's nice. I like it. Okay, so I'm digging it. I see what they did. I might be able to live with that. Let's look at these court cards. Ooh, thoroughbred horse. He is moving, and that's knights. Yeah, knights should be in movement. Nice. Leopard, Queen of Air. Humpback whale, King of Air. Nice, nice. Digging it. Although, I have some feelings about it. I'm like, it's air. They should all be air creatures. That's just my feeling. They should all be winged creatures that do airy things. Again, no shade. Just my feelings. Tabby cat for Page of Earth. Seahorse for Knight of Earth. Belgian hare. Queen of Earth. Irish cob horse. Pretty mane. All right. And then let's look at these and then we'll be done. There's my deer. Let's see what it says for this. Page of Water. Sensitive, kind, open-hearted, inexperienced. Dear, you can expect to kindle a new romantic relationship or close platonic friendship. You may suddenly receive an emotional message from someone or be invited to a social event. I like it. Knight of Water is the frog. Come on with the glass slipper. What's happening there? I love it. Queen of Water, swan. King of Water, penguin. Very nice. They did a good job. Did we look at this one already? Yes, we did. Good job. I like it. I didn't think I was going to like it. I usually don't like sort of like commercially produced, trying to take tarot and turn it in. I have my feelings. I'm a deck snob. But I like this. It has potential. I got to sit with it a little more. I do want to see how they've handled the guidebook. I wonder if they talk about why they chose the animals they chose. I'm always curious about the choices people make when they make All right, here we go. I have kept the classic structure of tarot in this deck with changes that express the loving and supportive nature of this divination tool. Just what I said. They've made it a little more gentle. Every card is reassuring and safe for highly sensitive people. Oh, nice. Okay. Tarot originally consisted of 2 sets of cards called arcana. These 2 arcana were later combined into the now traditional 78 cards. The first set is today called the Major Arcana, comprising 22 cards, blah, 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 blah. Major Arcana cards can also represent the different phases from childhood to old age. Second set, I'm just trying to see what they did in terms of blah, 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 blah. Since every individual tarot card has multiple possible meanings, I recommend consulting. The cards in this deck are rich with symbolism, and the illustrations also provide answers and messages. As you work with this deck, the images will help open your heart to the guidance of God's animal kingdom. Notice which aspects of each card's painting capture your attention, as that can be part of your message. This guidebook, coupled with your intuition, will help you discern answers to all your questions. I love it. Okay, very nice. Very, very nice. All right, friends, so that's the Animal Guides Tarot. It's a fairly new deck from what I can tell. Let's see, hold on. Animal Guides Tarot. Yeah, it came out in March this year. So it's a fairly new deck. I mean, that's last month, so fairly new. Very new, but pretty cool. And I did not show you the back of the cards, but they are the back of the cards. Same as the cover image. All right, I think I might have some fun with that one. I think I might. All right, friends, it's been wonderful. Stephanie says, cute deck and World Penguin Day is this Thursday. What? Look at that. All right, so made a journal, used up some of my washi, which is always a thing. Like, why do I have so much washi? In fact, there's a part of me that wonders if I have this same tape in a box. Hang on. I just have to check just for the sake of checking. Hold on. I have another box in my closet that has washi in it, but I don't see any of Tim Holtz's washi in here. I was gonna say, if I have some of his washi in here, that would be hilarious. Okay, I don't, but I also have one more place where I have washi, but I'm not gonna go digging it up. But I'm gonna look after I turn off this video to see if I have. Okay, wait, let's just do it. Let's do it now. Hold on. I'm a silly person. Okay, is there washi in this? Let's see. All right, one more place. One more place where there's washi. Let's see if I have any Tim Holtz in here. I would not be surprised if I do, but it looks like I don't. I have everybody else in here though. Ooh, we have a lot of that I need to. We'll talk about washi on Wednesday, why don't we? Let's talk washi. I mean, not Wednesday. Is it Wednesday? Whatever day is W day. We will talk washi. I'll bring out all the washi. It will be ridiculous. Many of you will judge me for how much washi I have and don't use. But we're going to change that this year. This will be the year of washi. Okay, loves, that's it for today. I have spent enough time. I hope that you got something out of my rambles today. I hope there was something that unlocked something for you to think about in your own life. Thank you so much. Thanks for hanging out with me as I talked and shared, and I look forward to seeing you tomorrow for day V. And what I have on my list right now is not a lot. So I don't know. I'm going to have to sit with what I'm talking about on letter day V. If you have some suggestions, throw them my way tomorrow when I go live. I think tomorrow I will be live earlier in the day. I'm going to do a quick peek at my calendar and just see if I've already put it in. I don't know if I did or not, but let's see. Boom, 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 boom. I think I'm going live earlier in the afternoon, like maybe noon tomorrow, noon Central. So look forward to seeing you there. I'll be on for about not long because I got to take my mama to the doctor tomorrow. So maybe I'm going more like 11 a.m. tomorrow. Get it done early. Since I don't have a lot to talk about with letter day V, I probably will just be on pretty quick, pretty short. We'll see. All right, y'all take care. Thank you for being here. I hope you have a beautiful rest of your Sunday evening. And I look forward to seeing you again tomorrow if you can make it. Take care, everybody. Much love. Bye.